What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode. So, I work with a ton of founders, and the number one complaint that I hear again and again and again is I just don't have enough time. There's too much to do. I have too many plates spinning. I don't have enough bandwidth. If only I could get more time back, I would be able to unlock more progress, grow faster. I'm going to share with you just 5 simple essentials that have helped me take my ADHD mind, my chaotic monkey brain, and actually direct it in a meaningful direction, to focus it towards my goals and to maximize my time. Because what I found is that you don't lack for time. What you really lack for is focus. If you could focus better on the things that actually move the needle, you will make more progress towards your goals. So here are the 5 basics. And what we're going to talk about here is the frame of time blocking, because time blocking is the single activity. I think if I was to look at my life and say what has had the most profound impact on helping me create a structure that has helped me move meaningfully forward towards my goals, it's been time blocking. And the interesting thing about that is I really resisted it, right? So first, number 1, the very first rule of time blocking is block what matters. The reason I struggled with time blocking is as somebody with ADHD, we rebel against authority, against structure, about people telling us where to be and what to do. The feeling of having things on my calendar, honestly, to this day, even knowing what I know about the value of time blocking, it still doesn't feel good. I hate having things on my calendar. When I wake up in the morning, I would much prefer just to have a blank calendar, a blank slate, just go be Peter Pan. But here's the thing is on those days, and I still allow myself those days every now and then, nothing happens. Despite my best intentions, if I leave the calendar open, I don't do shit. Nothing gets done, at least nothing important, right? So what I started to realize is that if you have big ambitions, you have big goals for your life, that you need to have the ability to create a structure that allows you to prioritize your future self's desires, now, rather than prioritizing your current self's desire for peace or comfort or whatever the feeling of complacency is of waking up and knowing I just have a blank calendar. So here's the rule is you have to block what actually matters. I like to say that if you show me your calendar and you show me your bank account, I'll show you what you value, right? Your calendar at the end of the day is nothing more than a reflection of your values. It is your way of saying these are the things that are the most important to me that I want to prioritize. Now, if you don't own your calendar, if you do not put things onto your calendar that you value and you say, I will make time for this, then the world has a way of filling your calendar for you. And I'm telling you, and you probably know this, is that the world is going to fill your calendar with things that aren't in your best interest, right? It's not going to move you towards your goals. I know this. I've tried this. And so the first thing is just understand if you don't block it, then it doesn't actually have value to you. If you don't have the time to write it down, you're not going to follow through and do the thing. Constraints are the father of creativity. I'm telling you, as somebody who to this day, having done this for the better part of 15 years now, I still struggle with time blocking, but I still do it because I know, just like going to the gym or eating healthy, that it's in my future self's best interest. So that's number 1. Number 2 is theme your days. So when you're sitting down to time block, it's not just about time blocking today. It's about time blocking on a long enough time frame that all of the things that need to get done in your life are accounted for. And you can't do all the things that need to be done in a single day. So you need to be first thinking in the span of a week and a month, and understanding what are the big projects, what are the big levers that need to be pulled that are going to move you towards your goals, and making sure that there's time set aside throughout a month period to be able to do that. Let's take this example. For dieting, a lot of people struggle with dieting because when they start counting their calories, they only count their calories in the frame of a day. They're like, okay, to lose my weight, I need to lose X number of calories over the next 90 days. That means every day I'm only going to consume 2,000 calories. And now they're tracking their calories, blah, 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 blah. And then something happens. And suddenly they have a splurge day. And they're like, okay, well, I've already fallen off the bandwagon. I had a bad breakfast, so I might as well have some ice cream, might as well have the chicken strips, all the things, right? Next thing you know, they've had 4,000 calories in a day. And they write it off and say, okay, that day is a wash. I'll just do better tomorrow. But here's the problem, is that you just consumed 2,000 more calories in a single day than your body needs. those don't just disappear the next day. Those actually stick with you and are in your system for the next week. And so instead of measuring your daily caloric intake, you want to actually stretch it out and start measuring it over the course of a week and say, okay, this week I have an allotment of 14,000 calories to work with. If you had a day where you ate 4,000, then you don't just get to write that off and be like, okay, that day was a waste. I'll just eat 2,000 tomorrow. Like, you need to actually bring the other days down to account for it over the course of a week. In the same way, like, that's how you plan your time blocking calendar over the long enough span, is like, look at it at a week and look at it over the course of a month. And then, like, as you're doing that, create different themes for different days. So instead of going through the energy sapping exercise of context switching from, I'm going to be writing a script over here, and then I'm going to be managing this person, having meetings over here, and then I'm going to go over and meet with this vendor over here and have a sales call at this time. Like, that's a lot of context switching. And context switching has what they call attention residue. It takes you a period of time before you can leave the thing that you just switched behind and forget it and move fully into the next activity. So the more we can reduce the amount of context switching throughout the day, the more likely you are to stay in momentum for longer. And the best way to do this is just to be like, okay, on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, those are my creation day. I'm going to try to limit the number of meetings or the number of administrative related things that I'm going to do. And instead, I'm just going to focus on doing deep work on the act of creating. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are going to be my meeting days, right? Like, that might be one way to structure it. But as much as possible, you want to create a theme for your day. And if not for the whole day, then at least for the morning or for a chunk of time. The fewer big chunks of time that you can operate within in the course of a day, the less context switching you have, the more energy, the more mental bandwidth you're going to have, the better it's going to feel. So that's number 2. Number 3 is this idea that I call the 5-3-2 framework. So that's 5 to thrive, 3 to free, 2 to do. Very simple. Sit down every quarter and write down what are the 5 things that you're going to prioritize for the next 90 days. Just 5 things. Then every single day that you wake up, you need to write down what are the 3 tasks that would move you towards those 5 goals. Like, not every day you're going to be moving towards all 5, but you're going to pick out what is the primary one for this day. What are the 3 activities that would move me forward? And ideally, what you want to have is 3 important high priority activities that if you did nothing else for the day, except for those 3 things, you would get to the end of the day and be like, that was a pretty damn good day. Just 3 things. Like, that's it. That's why we call it the 3 to free. You do those 3, then you're free. All right. Now, the 2 to do are just realizing that there's a lot of things that you do in your life that are like not very important, but if you don't do them, they stack up in the back of your mind and they create like this cognitive weight that's really hard to drop. So like doing the laundry or vacuuming or like just cleaning up the office, right? Like these things that you're like, oh, I got to do that menial task. It's not really moving me towards my highest and, most meaningful goals or anything like that. But by just giving yourself 2 to do each day, you can pick away at them and give yourself the mental security of knowing like, okay, I'm not falling behind on those little things. You're not going to get like an avalanche of just random to-dos like crushing you by the end of the week. And for a lot of people, my partner, Jamie, women in particular, I think like picking off those to-dos is a big part of like freeing up the mental bandwidth that they can then pour into the 3 to free. So that's number 3. Number 4 on the list is to protect your maker hours. So Paul Graham was the founder of Y Combinator, an accelerator for tech startups. He wrote a famous blog post about maker time versus manager time. The best way for founders to think about compartmentalizing their day is through the frame of I have maker time when I'm actually making things. I'm writing, I'm producing, I'm creating things that could only exist through my efforts. But then there's manager time. That is the time that you spend managing the task, managing the people that are moving you towards the goals. The problem is a lot of founders will wake up and they'll immediately dive into managing. And the makers just kind of the maker time gets pushed away, right? But the problem is like you probably have a unique skill set that can't be replicated, that can't be managed a way that you can't outsource, right? And if you don't prioritize the maker time, then the manager time just has a way of ballooning and becoming your entire schedule. So the best thing to do here is to wake up every day and chunk out the first part of your day for making time and the last part of your day, the second half of your day, for the managing time. The other benefit of this is just simply realizing like the way that your your rhythms work in terms of your energy output, you're probably mentally freshest in the morning, right? That's probably your best working hours. And so it should be going towards the highest priority work that you're making work rather than managing. I don't know about you. I can sit in a meeting and be brain dead and still like contribute meaningfully, whereas I cannot be brain dead and write something unique and new for the business. So it just won't happen. So protect your maker hours at all costs. Number 5, last but not least, is do less, but do it better. Overall, the big problem with founders is that we put too much on our plates. We try to get too much done in the span of a day. So what I would recommend is that you only ever time block 60% of your day. The rest, you leave a lot of white space because things overflow. Life has a way of happening, just gets in the way. And there's nothing worse than like time blocking every single, 15-minute block of your day. And then, 9 a.m. something goes off the rails and your whole schedule's screwed. And you're like, what was the point of even doing that activity? So only block 60% of your time, leave the rest blank, leave yourself really wide open times. And just like make sure that you're giving yourself less to do in a day. I'm telling you, if you focus on just like, okay, I can only do 3 meaningful things today, that will force you as a function of like, what are the 3 most impactful things I could do? And then you put your time and energy into that thing. And sure enough, you're going to move towards your goals. And it's not going to come as a result of doing more, but having done less, but having done it better. The other idea with this one of doing less but better is to use Parkinson's law in reverse. So instead of giving yourself like 5 hours to work on one little project, give yourself 2 hours, right? Work fills the time, expands to fill the time allotted. So if you give yourself a lot of time to do a task, it's going to take a lot of time. If you give yourself less time, it's going to take less time. So when you sit down to put your 3 to free on the calendar, say like, okay, I think reasonably this could take me about 3 hours. Okay, well, could you do it in 2? Maybe just block 2 and leave some white space on your calendar. So if it goes long, huzzah, but like do everything within your power to complete it within that 2 hours. See if it's possible. In more cases than not, I think you'll be surprised and you actually will make a lot more progress on it with like the tighter deadline than you would with the bigger one. So parting words on that concept is just something that Bill Gates or somebody like him said is that we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. And it's the same in a day. Like you are probably over indexing in terms of like what you think you can get done today. You just don't have as much time as you think. And like things take longer. So like try to do less, but better. Only 60% of your calendar, focus on your 3 to free, your 2 to do. Defend your maker time at all costs. If the managing has to get pushed, I would recommend pushing that rather than your maker time. And then just execute these rules every single day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of if that's something that you want to do. Just recognize it is in your future self's best interest. And that is your only job right now, is to do what's in future you's best interest. You do that on a long enough time frame and you can't not win. So that's going to do it for me, guys and gals. I'll see you in the next video.